Here we are. We have Smoke from LoudMouth Podcast in the house.
What's going on, man?
What's going on? Thank you for coming out. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So, for those who don't know, LoudMouth Podcast is on a little hiatus, but they are still semi-active, keeping people informed on Facebook, right?
Yeah, it's most of what I've pretty much been doing right now since we're not producing videos is I try to find the most appealing articles that I can see on Facebook and even on the internet. It just really depends on what's going on. You know, I can see something in my daily life and be like, "Oh, that's interesting. Everybody need to know about it." You know, I'm gonna post it. So
All right. Now, so for people who don't know, what is LoudMouth Podcast really about? Like, what's the basis of it?
LoudMouth podcast, the idea behind it was to basically create a network, with a bunch of people that we all fucked with. I mean, I don't know. Am I okay?
Mhm.
Okay,
No, you
all
got to
right.
watch your fucking language on this show.
Fuck. God damn it. All right. So with the Loudmouth podcast, we was basically trying to create like a Rooster Teeth network. That was my envision anyway. I was at work one day and I was bored out of my mind. And this was back before I was really doing the assistant manager thing and I wasn't as involved with everything that in work that I am doing now. But I was sitting there watching this Rooster Teeth podcast. Like this is long. It don't got a whole bunch of stuff they talking about. It's just a bunch of people talking. Why does this have a million something views? Why is this so interesting? So I started diving into what Rooster Teeth was, and I realized that this is not just a podcast. This is not just a couple people sitting around talking. This is a giant network of individuals who are striving to do something that they really want to do. Like you want to sit here and you want to talk with everybody that's got a blue life collar living, and that are still chasing dreams. And that's fantastic. That's exactly what we need because that's kind of like what we wanted to do in the beginning. It was all based on local. And when we started doing the independent artist interviews, that's when we realized it's independent artists. You know what I mean? It's not local. They get very upset when you call them a local artist.
Oh, because what? They think that's like a tier below or some shit?
Not necessarily that it's a tier below, it's just that they want to be recognized as an independent industry, that they're doing something that's not just commercial, it's not just this and that, they're doing this with no backing, and if you just say local, it's just basically to them it's like, oh, it's just some guy who's local here who makes music, like the random guy who sits at the corner of the bar downtown Lake Worth that plays the guitar, you know.
Doesn't really go chasing after anything.
Exactly.
That's how they took that.
Yeah, no necessary aspirations, no dreams. It's just
Well,
trying to do
they
something.
need to get the sand out of their vagina.
Uh, I agree with him in certain senses. At the same time, in the beginning, like I said, it was all supposed to be local. I wanted to interview local businesses, local business owners, local everything, local. I'm a Boynton local.
As am I.
You know,
I mean, I'm born at Bethesda Hospital.
me too.
You know,
That's fucking crazy.
I mean, my fucking grandfather was the magistrate for the city of Boynton.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, I'm about as local as your fucking redneck cracker, Florida cracker ass can get.
Yeah, you're a little more local than me. My grandparents came from St. Louis, Missouri.
Missouri?
Yeah, Missouri. And then they brought my moms down here. And what ended up happening is she met my father, and boom, here came this piece of shit right here, and I love it.
So you're born here. What schools did you go to? Like, where'd you grow up here?
My schools. A few of them were not. Most of my schools actually weren't necessarily in Boynton. There was a couple of elementary schools out in Boca, uh, Sandpiper Shores and Whispering Pines Elementary. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that. They sound pretty whack to me. Um, After that, however, we went over to Woodlands Middle. Woodlands Middle was popping. That's in Boynton, Boynton
Krista
Beach.
McAuliffe, sorry.
Oh yeah, see, no, and we ain't rocking.
We still rocking. We just
We
wasn't rocking
rocking,
back
but
then.
we ain't. Well, not back then.
Although I'm pretty sure I was probably almost out of fucking high school by the time you was hitting middle.
Probably.
Because my ass old as fucking dirt.
How old are you?
40.
40. Wow.
Yeah, I was there when they invented fire.
I believe it.
Fuck you.
I believe it. No, I would not expect 40 at all.
No.
Really wouldn't. But as from middle school, you got Woodlands Middle, and then you got when I was a kid, after 7th grade, they was creating this place called Emerald Cove right there on Stribling and 441.
Yeah.
So I ended up going over there because I was living with my grandparents at the time. They were living in Wellington area.
Okay.
So I went there, Woodlands, Emerald Cove, graduate Emerald Cove, Palm Beach Central High School, then the downfall, back to Boynton, Boynton Beach High, and then dropped out. And you're talking about life skills, and then like one other place I forget the name of because I was only there like a month.
So, jump back up to now. You got some plans to bring LoudMouth or something similar like that back to life.
I got so many plans for LoudMouth, man. It's just a matter of having the time and being able to really apply myself to it. I feel like if I can't apply myself to it, then I can't. I just can't do what I want to do with everything. You know, I don't want just some run of the mill podcast. I don't want some random motherfuckers and that's it. You know, I want to do a whole bunch of shit. And it like overflows me. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like I have this
Energy about you, I can see it.
yes. And it's just like I just want to do something. I want to continue doing something, and if it feels wrong while I'm doing it, then I ain't gonna do it. And if it feels right, then I'm gonna keep doing it. And like I was telling you, we was not just doing interviews. We was not just talking. We was not just doing games. We was trying to come up with skits and trying to come up with legit videos. I wanted to do music videos. I wanted to do my own music videos. I wanted to do everything. Create TV shows, movies. It didn't matter. Web series, whatever you want to call them.
So, what caused Loudmouth to go on hiatus for people that are like wondering, like, was it just you didn't have the time, or some of the guys lost interest, or what happened? Did it just quit? You guys just all of a sudden, oh fuck, we got to stop?
Well,
Yes, we gonna get into the deep end.
as I was saying, I was living with my grandparents at the time. I was, I believe, 23 when we started up Loudmouth Podcasts, and you got to consider I've been living with them since I was 11, 12. You know what I mean? I moved out once when I thought I could do it on my own for a little bit, and things screwed up and moved back. So I've been with my people. I was with my peoples for the longest of time. And then next thing you know, Grandpa was sick and things was really falling. He lost his job. Once he lost his job, I had to continue putting in more effort, put more work, put more money that I ain't have. And then he died,
Damn.
as everybody will, but it's like when he died, it was like my best friend died. Everybody might as well have died because it was gone. He was gone, and there was no better man than him. And if he could leave so easily, then it's like, what the fuck am I doing? And then not only that, the responsibilities of having to pretty much take his place. It was tough, and then right after
Scary.
that, scary shit. Yeah, it was scary. I had been fearing my grandfather dying since the time I was like 13 years old, when I realized people could actually die, and I was scared of fucking 666 and all that stupid shit. You know, like the date, like when we all thought, yeah, that dumbass shit. So I thought my grandfather was invincible. You know what I mean? He was everything for me. So when he passed, it was like, there's no more rock. There's no more anything. There's no more stability. I have to be the stable one in this world that I'm living in now. I don't have somebody to fall back on.
And you're 23, so you don't really know shit about shit.
Basically, you know what I mean? And so, oh, my blunt went out. Hold up 1 second. Yes, thank you, sir. My my lighter's full of sand because it was just at the beach. But grandpa passed. Yeah, my dog. That's what I'm talking about. So grandpa passed, and then 8 months later, grandma passed.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, it's not like it was a couple years later. It was a decade later. It was a hop, skip, and a jump. You know what I mean? She didn't make it to my next birthday.
God damn.
That shit beat me up. You know what I mean?
And they were essentially your parents. I mean,
Exactly. So it's not like, everybody loses their grandparent eventually. You know what I mean? That's just a,
Yeah,
a
but
matter of fact with a grandparent.
yeah, but usually when you lose your grandparents, you got your parents to fall back on. These were essentially your parents, and now
No, exactly.
that's fuck. And how'd you fucking cope with that? Like,
Well, I mean, I was trying to continue to LoudMouth. That's we fell off prior to that for like a month and a half, maybe two. You know, maybe even 3 months. I'm not 100% sure on the time frame, but that was right when my grandfather had passed, and that's just not easy, bro. I went on a crazy drinking binge. I gained a lot of weight. I was also in a legal bind at the time, so that didn't help. I didn't have my stress relief. I didn't have no medicine. So I just kind of thugging it out on my own, and you realize after thugging it out for so long that shit ain't helping you, So I had to figure it out, and like I said, I was taking up the responsibilities of both of them now. After losing him, I took his responsibilities. Now I lost both of them. Now I'm taking their responsibilities, both of them. My mom's, who hasn't really been a productive member of the family for a very long time, she ended up moving back into the home with me and my sister, because it was just me and my sister left to take care of a what was it, 1850 rent down in Boca. Yeah, shit's cap, big cap. Um, but so we was managing it, but we knew we couldn't manage it for long. We was skipping out, maneuvering money, making sure things could go certain ways. And it's like, between all that and now you're talking about on your free time, hey, come over here, spend 2 hours, 3 hours, and
do
do
a
a podcast.
podcast that you ain't even probably getting paid for at the
You're
time.
definitely not getting paid for it. I'm sure you're not getting paid for it. You know
Not
what
a
I mean?
fucking penny.
Anything
This,
that
this is just a loss for me. This is something I do out of pocket. It
exactly.
costs me every month. It costs me.
Yep. And that's what I had to realize is like, it might be something that I really want to do, but at the moment I have to fall back. I have to make a business decision. Really an executive decision. It's like, do I continue to do this knowing that all it's doing is costing me money and building
With the hope that someday it'll make you money.
with the hope that it'll even build a fan base?
Yeah.
Forget
without
about
them-
the money that you could possibly make if you got big. It's just building that little bit of a fan base that you want in the beginning to get something generic going. Like, that's the bitch.
the grassroots of people who are down for it, who are interested. that want to see, you know, what you're putting out there. That whatever that may, in my case, it's a raw getting to the people who are still out there who've gotten knocked on their fucking ass
Yeah,
and gotten back fucking up and are still clawing and scraping trying to get back up.
that's what I'm
You know,
saying.
fuck. So now you've lost your grandma, your mom. You know you can't hit that nut consistently for a long term.
Definitely not. But we, like I said, we was making it manageable. When we realized that things was really going downhill is when we got hit with that eviction notice, and it was like, "Yo, look, you got so many days to get the fuck out of here," and we ain't have no plan. We have no idea what we were gonna do, you know. But what we decided to do was fight it, you know, do what any sensible human being would do when faced with what one might call oppression. We fought it, and we fought tooth and nail to stay in there for the next, I think, 3 months. And after that, we had to go to court, and they were like, "Look, you got to move out of here in a week and a half, not even." I ended up leaving. The day we had to move was New Year's.
Oh,
New Year's
fuck.
Day.
New Year's Day?
Yeah. I had to get off of work, come home, try to move everything out of my house, and I lost most of my shit. Like I had when I was younger, I had a decent bit of money doing certain things, you know what I mean? I was a hustler, you know what I mean? I was a kid. Grew up in fucking Boynton. You know what I mean? We learned how to do things, and I did it. You feel me?
Oh, I feel you.
So, you know, like I had a little bit of bread, you know what I mean? So, when I was doing certain things back then when I had my own place, it was manageable, but once things got kicked in, basically when the dough got kicked in, it was all up from there. So it's like, what do you do now?
Oh, yeah, at
You
that
know?
point, it's a wrap. What you gonna do? So what did
Exactly.
you do though? I mean, it's a wrap now.
Well, I went back to grandpa and grandma.
So, but day of eviction, New Year's. What year was this?
Day of eviction, New Year's. This was of this year.
Oh shit! So this is real fucking recent and raw.
Yeah,
Fuck.
exactly. So actually, I was 24 when grandpa died. So grandpa passed, and around November, and then grandma died right before my birthday
Now,
in August.
if I can ask, what was your grandfather's name?
Tom,
Tom?
Tom Adams.
Tom Adams. And what did he do for a living?
He he's a funny guy. That guy there. He. I apologize.
No problem. If you need to take that real quick.
Nah. It's just my DJ who decided not to be here, so
Oh.
he's calling me, wondering where I'm at, and it's like, hey, I'm where I told you I would be. You know what I mean? So
So your grandfather's a funny guy.
grandfather is a funny guy. He worked his ass off till since he was like 14 years old, you know, just doing labor farm work, you know, out in Missouri. Or actually, he was born in Kentucky, you know what I mean? So he was out in Kentucky, bumfuck, wherever, doing God knows what in a field.
Putting in them hours is what he was doing.
Hell,
Fuck.
fuck yeah. Well, all I know is whatever he was doing, it built a very ambitious and honorable man. You know, all he ever cared about was family. So to me, that's all it is. It's family, family, family. Regardless of whatever misfortunes I dealt with in the past, as far as family, it's like family, family, family. Even if you ain't blood, that don't mean nothing.
If
You know
you've
what I
got
mean?
loyalty, love, and respect, you can be family.
Exactly. That's all it is. That's all it ever is. You know what I mean? But what he did was work in Sun Sentinel. He was he ended up being one of the presidents of the Jewish Journal for the Sun Sentinel. So he was running that for the time right before he passed. But what ended up happening to him, fuck Sun Sentinel, by the way, they just decided to let him go when they brought in this new young owner of the company because they sold out like a couple of bitches, and basically they told every senior officer that was in that establishment that they, hey, you know what? Thank you for your time, but fuck you. We're going to give you severance pay for a year and we're going to let you do you. And it's like my grandfather dedicated, I think, 20 years, maybe more, to this company, you know,
Damn.
became so far as to when it was time to pick a new president that he became the new president. You know what I mean? Like, that's how far this
And how
motherfucker
long he
became.
been there?
Exactly. Starting out as like nothing. Like it was some little paper boy with no experience, no education, not a damn thing. They chose him for experience because of the 20 plus.
Damn,
I
that's
know.
putting some time and some work in.
But they did him dirty. You know what I mean? He
That's,
lost everything. He had insurance coverage for me, my sister, my grandma, my mother even, which is crazy as hell because I don't know how he could have insurance coverage for her.
that's that good.
But
That's that
you know
good
what I mean? He
insurance.
had things going on. There was, if something happened to him while he was in work, we'd have been taken care of. But they knew that he was sick because of all the different doctor's visits that he had to go to, because he had a couple of incidents at work.
So as soon as the restructuring was coming on,
Oh,
they
yeah.
targeted his ass.
They brought up a new young up and coming who wouldn't even come to work in a suit and tie. This motherfucker would come in gym shorts and a t-shirt with a hat on. Yeah, looking like me. It's bullshit. I'd never do something like that. You know what I mean? My grandpa taught me more respect than that. But
That's why there's a differentiation between white collar. You're supposed to be wearing a button-up white collar shirt with a tie, and then you got us blue ass collar motherfuckers. I appreciate it, but
I would keep offering.
I'm gonna keep saying no. But I appreciate it. But I don't. Unless you want this podcast to go,
Nah, it's cool. It's cool. I like this. I like this.
because that's what happens to me. That's why.
Word.
But
It just
you know,
keeps me going.
that's for a lot of people it does, but for someone like me it don't. But that's the whole like blue collar. We wear a blue collar shirt if we got a collar on it to hide grease stains, dirt stains, and all that shit. That's where the term comes from.
You know it.
And then there's white collar wearing a white pressed button up shirt sitting behind a motherfucking desk.
Yep.
And homeboy's got a white collar job and shows up looking like he just came from the basketball courts.
Yep.
How the fuck do you take a motherfucker like that seriously?
The dude owns the company.
Well, I guess when you're the owner, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
I guess so, but you know, I come from a different world than that. If you're gonna teach somebody something, you better be upholding the same
Standard.
respect. Yeah, exactly.
I hear you on that.
And if you're not doing it, then you shouldn't be teaching anybody anything. You know what I mean?
So let's move around a little bit. You said you were facing legal issues. Was that civil or the other side of the law?
It was the criminal side of the law.
Did you beat those charges?
No.
Oh damn!
I beat some of the charges. The charges got dropped. Lots of money was spent.
On the ones that the state decided that they found you, do you mind
They
discussing
found
ones?
no, I don't care.
Which ones did the state decide that they decided you were guilty on?
They decided that I was guilty of the in excess of 20 grams possession that I was in, which was in a safe that they illegally broke into. Regardless of the facts. These are just the facts of the state.
And which police department was it that did this shit?
Oh, that's Palm Beach County
Office?
Sheriff's Office, yeah.
Shit happens, unfortunately.
Hey,
If you're lucky, you can beat the rap.
Well,
but
you know-
you can't beat the ride.
Interestingly enough, they didn't come there for me.
Well, who were they there for?
My roommate.
What?
Yeah. My roommate and his partner at the time had gotten into an altercation. I guess it got heavy enough that
Someone called the cops.
somebody called the cops and basically busted in my door at 4 in the morning. Or no, correction. They didn't bust in my door. My door was flung open at 4 in the morning somehow. and they were screaming Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office through the door, going through the hallway, all this, and I'm waking up. I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this motherfucker? And I come out the door. It's police with their guns drawn, telling me to get on the floor, do this, do that, and the other. And I just did what they said. You know? Like,
I
okay.
know. I know. I know. Oh fuck.
You feel me? I mean, hey, there was I like to weigh my options.
And arguing with people who have got guns pointing at you is a losing proposition.
Exactly. Unless there is a very, very, very close exit door.
And even then, it's still an iffy proposition.
But there wasn't. So, needless to say, laid down on the floor, got put in handcuffs. They realized that they were not there for me because they were going to the room
And
for
there was
the
no
roommate.
and there was no women's shit.
Oh, there was somebody in there. It was the partner, and she was screaming, saying "fuck you," and basically telling everybody that she didn't do anything and he didn't do anything, and then there was nothing supposed to be going on. What are we looking at?
I'm gonna have
over here?
Joey sit in for a moment. Come on. Yes. Come on.
What it do, player? What it do?
It's a beautiful thing about having Joey.
I'm coming out of the speaker?
Yeah.
Ah, shit.
What's good?
What it do, man? I get a little loud. When I was on LoudMouth, that's what they always yelled at me
I've been
for.
staring at that fucking Looney Tunes tattoo. That shit is fucking dope as fuck.
It's so choppy, though.
It's choppy, but that could be fixed.
It could be.
That looks like it could be a fucking dope ass tattoo.
Your
I never even thought
opinion.
about that.
Your opinion. I need your opinion on this. Do you
Okay.
think I should go ahead and continue what he was doing?
With
or
a different guy?
with a different person, yeah. I know it'd be
It
tough.
depends on the different guy. Because, like, I go to a guy and, like,
Or it'd have to be pristine with line work.
well, not necessarily. Because, like, there's people that will be like, yo, some people won't mess with other people's tattoos. You know what I mean? Some people
Understand.
won't touch it.
Yes.
But some people will either kind of go with it and fix it or just kind of do their own thing where they can. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I could go to my boy Jake Keller.
I know that motherfucker too.
Hey, it's
I
my
didn't
dog.
know. Sounds of the rodeo, bro. I didn't. I've known that
Yeah.
motherfucker for a while. I didn't
Dude,
know
it's
he
my
tattooed
dog.
till
I
the
went
other
to
day.
fucking Emerald Cove with this dude.
I'm getting ready. I'm gonna get me and my old lady. We're getting double dragon tattoos.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get the blue one. She's gonna get the red one.
Bro, you should go to Jake, bro.
I am. We're going. It's
what
gonna
I'm talking
be
about.
Jake and Boswell.
Okay.
Shout out to y'all, motherfuckers.
My
Love you guys.
nigga.
That's fucking funny as fuck. I will
It
hit
is,
that
but
blunt though.
Thank you. Fuck. I had another one, but I smoked half of it on the way, and the other half
So
is just.
let's talk about these tattoos
in
though.
my
You got a
car.
lot of fucking shit on you.
Yeah, I got a few things. Got
Is
a
that
few
the
things.
fucking Martian?
Yeah, bro. See, this was
Motherfucker,
the question I wanted to ask you. See, do you think off your opinion, do you think that I should go ahead and just have somebody go along with what this artist was doing, or do you think I should cover it with similar things, similar Looney Tunes like
I mean, because
Marvin?
they didn't do too much, so
That's how I
you
feel.
could continue with it, and it's not awful to where the point you don't know what it is. Because I
Word.
could tell, you know, like the fucking pig and all that shit. You know, like
Mhm.
you could kind of tell what it is. But if you had somebody go ahead, if they were able or like, if they wanted to
Mhm.
fucking continue with it, because a lot of guys are sketchy about that.
Yeah.
That could be a fucking sick ass tattoo.
Well, see, what I would want them to do is wrap it around. You know what I mean? I would
Well,
want
yeah,
them
you
to
gotta do the whole
continue
arm.
doing their whole
you gotta
thing.
even
Oh, yeah.
incorporate the Martian and
Well,
everything.
see, this is supposed to be cut off, and then it's just space.
Nah,
It's
'cause,
like a void.
Bro, what you could do is like he could be running down like a long road, and the Martian could be all the way at the end of the fucking road, and you know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like
then
that
what,
could,
what do we do
you can
about
make a
this
whole
galaxy
slave.
thing that we got going on here?
fuck it. He's shooting at the there's a fucking corner of the earth right there. fucking corner of the earth. It breaks off right there, and it's just in space.
You know, it's funny. Jake actually did the galaxy part right here.
Jake's fucking. He's
Bro,
dope.
Jake's my dog, bro.
I saw that. Are you the one that got the Courage the Cowardly Dog? Somebody got that
No,
one.
wasn't me.
That shit looks sick as fuck.
I wish
man.
I did get it though.
You know what his Instagram is to shout him out or something? I don't know what it is.
I fucking don't.
Fuck. I'm gonna
Jake
feel like
Keller,
I don't have Instagram, so
my dude.
I wish I knew his Instagram. Oh well.
Jake,
All right, I'm gonna put
Mr. Keller,
Mr. Genius, I guess, back on the.
the blue
back on
collar
here.
genius.
Give me that shit.
Oh,
Hey,
breaking things.
I had my sunglasses the whole fucking time. I did not even notice.
You're so fucking retarded.
I'm serious. I was driving down the road. I'm like, so bright. I should have brought my sunglasses.
I thought this thing was done.
Oh shit.
Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. Since you all talking about tattoos, I got one today.
I'm saying, what is that?
It is the Deadpool symbol with what I am is an Aspie.
That is awesome.
Shout
What
out.
is Aspie, by the way?
Aspie is an endearing term used by people who have Asperger's.
Word.
And
Ass pie.
So somebody you might love has.
I actually have Asperger's, actually.
So somebody you love.
Yeah, myself. And then it was done by this wonderful tattoo artist, Brittany. Check her out on Instagram. It's Brit, Britto, Source, Saurus, Rex. She's at Got Ink Tattoo in West Palm. Thank you very much, honey, for taking care of me and getting that done today without an appointment.
You mind if I see it? Very cool, Brittany.
Yeah.
Very cool.
She put that together this afternoon for me, and I just came in and she put it down.
Word.
It's a lot better than some bullshit jailhouse tattoo.
No, definitely. Hey, I don't have jailhouse tattoos, but they might as well fucking be. I mean, they look like it. I get so many people that ask me sometimes, they're like, "Oh, you was locked up."
And I've seen some. I'll be honest. I've seen some amazing jailhouse tattoos that you would not know they were jailhouse.
Me too. That's the crazy part.
Like you absolutely would not know unless the person told you. Like there's some amazing artists locked up, and there's some shitty artists out on the street. But Brittany is not one of them. She's a great artist, a lot more talented than she realizes. And that's Got Ink Tattoos in downtown West Palm. Check them the fuck out.
Word. My boy.
And that has a subject I won't roll into, because it's my boy's fucking shop that he loves going to. But one of the owners, like, dog, you got to let go of that grudge with Brit, like, for real. I don't give a fuck. He ain't from Asgard, he ain't from Wakanda. He can come run that.
Ooh. Shots fired somewhere.
You know who you are, John.
I like you, bro. What's your name, Jason? Jason.
Everyone
I
calls me
like
JT.
you, Jay. JT.
And I know you
I
got
like
friends in
your
common with
energy.
me, too. So don't even think.
So, the dude who actually did Marvin as a
Shout out to him. Where's he work?
he actually doesn't work anywhere. Respectively, he has passed away. No, it was just because you know what I mean. He had passed away. Shouts out my dog Snoop. I just had to put that out there. My homie, he did a lot of things. I love him, respect him. Wish he was still here. You know what I mean?
I feel you on that, especially with Memorial Day coming up this week.
You know it. Come on now.
My brother Josh Stein, may you rest in peace. A lot of fucking motherfuckers out there,
Yeah.
too. But enough about tattoos. Firing shots out over the internet.
I stole your lighter.
pocket, actually.
Whose light is this?
I thought that was yours.
I think I brought two. That might be mine.
I think it's mine's now.
So, if you bring Loudmouth back, do you have like a direction you'd really like to go in specific with it? Like, that's my question for you. Like, do you have a vision of bringing it back of a specific type of, outside of just doing everything? Not Loudmouth as an umbrella, but specific a podcast that you were gonna do. Like, do you have a specific thing in mind or
Well, see,
a
that's just
vision
it.
for it?
I had to come to terms with the fact that if I wanted to do something, I had to pick something. I couldn't just jump around from thing to thing that I want to do. You know, that's one of my biggest issues with creating anything. I also write music. I do poetry. I write stories. I do lots of things that people don't really know about because I don't really put it out there. But that's the problem I have with doing all that. It's just I jump from thing to thing. But if I were, and which I am, coming back to do Loudmouth, it's just a matter of figuring out all my little angles that I need to figure out. What I'm gonna do is basically focus it and dedicate it on the independent music and run with that as far as it can go. And at the end of the day, I'm doing something that I want to do and I'm helping somebody that I want to help, and I don't give a flying fuck if I'm getting paid to do it or not. You know, I also have plans to do another streaming type show. It's called The Skinny, that is with my DJ Needles. That's all going to be directed towards independent artists, but that's going to be live. I'm planning on keeping Loudmouth not live.
As a produced show.
Exactly. I have a certain vision of it, and I don't want to allow outside things to really fuck with that. So I want to keep that as like my baby. And then with the Skinny, me and DJ News, we're just gonna go balls to the wall, and we're gonna get all the music. We're gonna go and channel and network with all the artists that are out here. Please, artists, if you listen and check us out, we want to do work. We want to do business. If you not that great, you not that great, but we will still put you on, and we will tell you that you not that great. And that's just what it is.
Now, is it a specific genre of music of artists?
It's
you're looking for?
mainly hip hop. It's majority of it. It's all basically directed towards hip hop. As far as Loudmouth, I want to do all genres of art. Not necessarily just music, but we can go even poetry, slam poetry. We can do, you know, rock music. We can do reggae bands. We can do hip hop. We can do battle rapping. We can do whatever the fuck you do.
That's fucking pretty dope.
I just want to do it. You know what I mean?
But you get to focus on the musicians that
Exactly. To
come-
focus directly on
not
that artist.
not necessarily local musicians, but musicians that grew up locally or came up out of Florida, South
You know,
Florida.
even if they don't come up out of South Florida, I think that was another one of their problems was the fact that local artists basically says that you're local from here, and a lot of the local talent that is out here is not necessarily from here. You know, you got B Magic and he's from Delaware. You got Gambo also from Delaware. Pretty much all the hood hippies are from other states.
Now,
You know what I mean?
Not to sound stupid, but I'm gonna sound stupid. What the fuck is a hood hippie?
A hood hippies ENT.
I mean, I can guess, but I like to
They
just
are
explain.
one of the best rap groups that I've heard come out of South Florida.
So it's a
And they
group.
didn't come out of South Florida. That's the thing. I keep saying that they come out of South Florida, and that's the problem right there.
Oh, this is where they developed. They developed in.
I feel like they developed. This is where I see all their music. This is where I see everything happening. They are fucking fantastic.
And that's the name of their group is Hood Hippie.
Hood hippie. Hood hippie ENT. They're fucking awesome. It's like, you ever heard of Cameron Airborne?
No, I've never heard Hood Hippie. I'll have to see about getting them in here.
Have you heard of Cameron Airborne?
No, I ain't heard of a lot of shit.
Really? I'm gonna have to when I get Loudmouth up and popping. I'm gonna have you come on there.
I'll definitely come the
And
fuck up on there.
we're gonna have to co-host a couple of these artists, bro, because
Uh,
these guys are fantastic. They're great people. They're out here, busting their ass, doing not only the blue collar thing, but they're out here trying to help feed homeless people. They're trying to help do other things, and they're also throwing their shows, and they're also doing everything else under the sun.
I definitely would definitely be down for getting them on the fucking show, this show,
Yeah.
and doing a fucking maybe a special of a split show. Fucking set it up where it's a Loudmouth and Blue Collar Genius show simulcast.
Hey, like I told you before, I'm about whatever, and I'm all in it whenever I do something. So it's like if this is something I'm gonna do it.
You know. So what you've done a bit about what was the biggest hurdle that you ran across? Did you run into a hurdle that like at one point outside of obviously the major hurdle of your passing of your grandfather, but before that, was there a hurdle that you ran into that you're like, man, maybe we shouldn't be putting our time into this? Like, did you run into anything like that?
The biggest hurdle is maybe figuring out the human psychology, understanding what keeps people interested, how long a human's attention span is. That's essentially the main focus that you have to focus on if you want to produce anything that's going to be going anywhere.
But at the same time, yeah, I know what you're talking about, obviously, because it's part of this fucking business. But at the same time, there's are other podcasts that are far more successful than mine. Joe Rogan Experience, for one, fucking,
You ain't lying.
and he runs times just as long as I do. And I mean, I know for one, straight up, I'm a fanboy. I fucking listen to the whole fucking thing, hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it runs. And I know there's a lot of other people that do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, obviously, there's no one formula that works for this.
No, absolutely not. It really depends on the audience. It depends on who you're trying to capture. What attention are you trying to capture? Are you trying to capture the young people's attention? If you're trying to do that, you're in for a long fucking haul because that's not maybe a 2-minute attention span. You have to consider the fact that you have Snapchat, you have Instagram, you have Twitter, you have Facebook, you have WorldStar, you have essentially a laptop in your hand, and you can watch anything and everything and learn anything and everything, regardless if it's fact or not. You can learn it.
I wouldn't even say
what's
it's
in your pocket.
in comparison to the computers that I grew up with. You do have a laptop in your fucking pocket.
Well,
Like,
you see, so then you understand exactly
I
what
mean,
I'm saying.
I got more storage on this fucking phone internally than I had on my first hard drive.
Word.
Like, it's unfathomable. Like, you can get a SIM card to put in your phone that's got more storage than. I remember when a 1 gigabyte hard drive came out,
Damn.
and that was like we
I'm
literally
sitting here
were,
with terabytes.
and we're 1 gigabyte. We're going, what the fuck am I gonna fill this up with?
Yeah.
Like literally, no lie. Like unless you were putting it in a server for a big business, we're like, what the fuck are we ever gonna?
Well,
We're
I
never
mean,
gonna fill this.
Was
bitch.
there even an MP3 file back then?
MP3s were just coming out when gigabytes came out. Yeah.
What was the size of that MP3?
Oh, it was terribly small because it was everything fit on a CD. Laser discs were out.
And a CD was how many gigabytes?
It wasn't gigs. It was
Well, of course it would be hours, but if we were to configure,
it was probably 128.
convert,
It was
I
probably like
guess.
120. Oh no, it's probably like 128 megabytes.
128 megabytes.
You could fit a CD on like. Yeah, Google that shit. We'll get an actual answer of the original laser CD player CDs. How much data was actually on?
Well-
but it wasn't a lot. Like in comparison, it wasn't really all that much. And a gigabyte hard drive, like that's why, like if you go back, there's people who were, back when LimeWire was a thing.
I loved LimeWire, man.
That kids were getting charged with thousands of fucking copyright infringement charges.
Not me.
Because they were downloading hundreds of albums and still couldn't fill their hard drive. That's the new ones, or
60 to 60 minutes.
So
All I know is that with
sorry, we got distracted.
all I know is that in growing into your life, into the person that you've become, you've watched everything else grow with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I come from a very, very strange generation. I remember before where like an Atari was like I had an Atari, the original Atari, 2600. And it was something you played with for an hour or two because you could only play so much Pac-Man. You could play only so much Joust or Pong.
yeah,
The rest of the time you spent it outside. And it was still a time where when the street lights came on, you came in. And, you know, having a computer in your house was fucking unheard of.
yeah. I
And
know
then,
that.
you know, personal computers started to become a thing.
Yeah, 4.7 and 9.4 gigs.
Is that modern? Or is that the original?
No, 60 minutes. 30 to 60 minutes of content.
My only
Wait.
point was to say that with time, everything grows.
No, that's DVDs.
So of course those gigabytes turned into terabytes, and those
Correct.
terabytes are gonna continuously turn into whatever the a terabyte is 1,000.
Is 1,000.
Yeah, I typically prefer to buy the 2 terabyte external hard drives when I do anything.
With gaming, especially.
Oh, that's how I have my Xbox One. You know, it's
I got 3 terabytes.
3 terabyte, my nigga. That's what I'm talking about. That's gaming.
I'm
You know-
both PlayStation and Xbox.
Ooh, see, my stepdaughter has my PlayStation 4, so I don't get no use out of it. It is what it is, though. I don't really use the Xbox One anyway.
No, it's interesting. Like going back to how much technology has changed. Like I remember when MTV still had music videos on it.
I do too.
You know, but I grew.
But you had to go to like channel 300.
You had to have cable.
Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, it's weird because when I was growing up, I remember Betamax and VHS, and like technology hadn't taken over your daily life, and like I saw it pervade life. Like not everybody had a computer at their house.
Yeah.
You know, people still had typewriters,
Mm-hmm.
and if they didn't, they went to the library to use a typewriter. And nowadays, kids grow up with computers in their house.
Yeah.
I remember.
And they grow up with phones in their pockets.
Yeah.
I mean,
Fuck. Phone. Yeah, phones in their pockets as well. But I remember when most people never even heard of the internet.
yeah.
Before AOL, that's how big of a nerd I was, that you had to have access to a college or university to access the internet. There
Yeah.
was no World Wide Web. There was Telnet, IRC, FTP, and that was File Transfer Protocol.
Fuck the police.
It should be.
Always been like that.
Oh, I remember fucking Public Enemy coming out. I remember that huge controversy.
Hey, I just remember NWA, bro. Yeah.
No.
I might not remember NWA, but I remember my mama's CD for NWA
No,
Greatest Hits.
Like I remember on the news, like people having rallies against Public Enemy, and them coming in with fucking steamrollers and steamrolling hundreds and thousands of albums in protest.
Yeah.
Back when people thought the cops were still on their side.
That was a long, long time ago.
He's an old man.
He looked like nah. That contradicts what I was saying earlier.
I,
I
don't
mean,
look old, but
Honestly, I didn't think he was that old. I thought maybe like early 30s.
well, thank you. You're my new favorite guest.
Hey, I fuck with you, bro.
I already said I'm 40, you fucking ugly fuck.
Restroom.
Yeah,
I'll be back.
he'll be back.
I gotta take these off, don't I?
Yeah, probably help a bit. But yeah. So, with that, yes, I got a new tattoo. No, you can't read it. It says, "My brothers are fucking assholes, but I love them anyways." As a reminder, bluecollargenius.net is our website. You can view this stream there. You can also get the 3 most recent YouTube videos there, plus access to our audio file list. If you are interested in being on the show, you can reach us at Blue Collar Genius on Facebook or jt@bluecollargenius.net. Send me an email. If you have a friend you think I should interview, fucking send me their information. Let them know I'm going to contact them. Fucking get them on here. I know you motherfuckers know people that have stories that should be told. Help me get them on here to tell their stories. Next week, we have the band MRSA going to be on this podcast, and it's going to be an interesting show. They were recommended to us by our previous guest, Killed by Florida. Again, shout out to Killed by Florida. You guys were fucking awesome to have on. Thank you. It was entertaining. I do apologize about the political rants that I got into and to my audience for that. So I apologize for that. No, I don't. Get over it. Fucking fast forward. There's fast forward on this shit. You'll be fine. I promise. And if not, maybe this show's a little too tough for you. So it's also going to be a late night show. MRSA, Saturday night, we should be live right at the stroke of midnight, which is kind of appropriate considering they're a horror movie band. So that's going to be fucking awesome. I think the Peanut Gallery has something to say.
11:30 p.m. on fucking Saturday night.
11:59 p.m. on a Saturday night. Turn us on while you're fucked up to hear some fucking awesome, crazy, wild ass shit. So while you're drinking, put us on. It's gonna be cray. And Smoke is back, so I can stop
Hello.
rambling like a retard. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't say retard anymore. I apologize to anyone that's retarded for being a retard. Fucking retard.
I forgot my beer in the bathroom.
He needs a beer!
Oh,
Yeah, they'll just get you a new one. It's all right. So, did you guys ever, like, outside of, obviously you're chasing, as we were discussing, local independent artists.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever have any trouble? Like, I know that's one of the hardest things I have is getting people scheduled and confirmed to be on the show. Did you guys run into that problem?
We ran into issues with people being on time. People coming through with entourages, like Cameron Airborne, for instance, came with like fucking 8 people. And we were like, we don't really have room for 8 people.
Did you tell them up front?
I mean, we asked them how many people they were bringing. It was never like a stipulation. It wasn't like, hey, don't bring 8 people. But it was like how many are you gonna bring, roughly? Like 2 or 3. We had 4 mics, I believe. He was like, oh yeah, 2 or 3. His girlfriend, of course, and then somebody else who might talk. We had Wolf, who was a tattoo artist. He came with him one time. We've had Cameron on multiple times.
Okay.
And yeah, every time he's always come with like 5 people at least. And that's a problem, because if I don't tell you I
Yeah.
was coming with, like, say I came with 10 people or
Oh,
say
I
came with,
promise
like,
you,
3
you'd
people.
find a totally different introduction. It'd be, that's cool. You're coming in. Pick 2 people. Everyone else, you're staying the fuck outside. I don't give a fuck what
Exactly.
you do. And I'm ready to enforce that shit.
Exactly. That's
Like, if you
basically-
tell me you're coming with fucking 5, 8 people, all right, cool. But you better be fucking bringing me some fucking beer then, because I know these motherfuckers are going to be drinking my shit.
See, with us, we were always smoking, so it was like I would have 8 people now in the house that I'm passing this blunt to that I'm supposed to be smoking between 3 people on camera. And that created a problem. I mean...
You're nicer than I am. I'd have told him to get fucked.
I mean, we didn't mind the audience. We kind of enjoyed it because it made us stay a little more upbeat, you know, like even just with having your producer and sound guy in the background, that makes a world of difference.
Oh, it
You
does. But
know,
my producer and and my audio engineer would definitely be going, now, you didn't say this many. You come in. Everyone else, tough fucking shit.
well, no, of course, I'm just saying for like the idea of an
Yeah, no, I get
audience,
what you're
you
saying.
know.
It's nice to have live people, peanut gallery, making their snide little,
Definitely
color commentary in
interesting.
the background, makes you
Yeah.
laugh.
Honestly, they should have like these little mics that record everything that they say while they're back there, and then when you when you go to look back at it, when you go to break it down, if you go to break it down, you know, of course it's already live on YouTube. YouTube was good. It's already live on YouTube. When you go to break it down, if you break it down, like say you wanted to.
Oh no, I would leave that. If I can get the arrangement, the plan is actually for the audio station, which the audience can't see.
Mm.
We plan on once I get a little bit more money, putting a boom mic there, so the audio engineer or usually the producer
A
sitting there.
boom mic?
Yeah, one of these, what we've got,
Mm.
so they can sit here and put
Thought
it.
you meant like a boom mic. Like I was just recently dealing with a boom mic because I was on.
Oh, you're talking about a long arm boom mic.
Yeah, yes. You know,
Well,
one
this
for
is
like
technically considered a boom mic because it sits on an arm.
for
An
like
arm is a
movie,
boom, dumbass.
you know, for like a movie. Me and my wife, we were both invited to this set of Bay Night. It's a web series on YouTube.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah.
So what was it? It's Bane. It's called Bane Night. Where can
Bay
they where,
Night.
where can they see that?
You can find it on YouTube. I don't believe it's got too many subscribers. It's maybe got like 350 maybe going at the moment, but it was definitely a great experience. It was something different that me and my wife never had experienced before, and me and her are now currently trying to work with them on more things, and we're also invited to the little red carpet for the premiere of this little web series. And like what I realized while I was there in the 7 hours of sitting around was that these people spend, roughly $15,000 to $20,000
What?
on these little web series things, and you don't realize the production and the amount of effort and money that really goes into these things. Like you see these little shows on YouTube and think they're nothing. You see all these famous people that are famous from YouTube on YouTube, still posting on YouTube, and you're like, these are just people. These are just regular people doing funny things. They're doing crazy things. They're, you know, they're making fun of people. They're doing pranks. It's like, no. Not all of these people are just deciding, hey, let me run up to this person and pretend like I'm stealing their purse, or let me run up to this person and pretend like I'm a Unabomber, or let me run up to this person. Like, of course, essentially the idea comes from like, hey, I think this would be funny, but you're putting a lot of time and effort into how you're actually doing it. The money, all this costs money. This is bread, and you're not just out there making your own bread, churning your own wheat and doing all this, that, and the other. It's not happening. Money don't grow on trees. You out here grinding for your job that you do for your bills, but yet you're sitting here talking about making a new audio stand and doing this and that and the other for the place. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what goes into this that nobody understands.
No, all they see is, oh, this didn't look right to me.
No, exactly.
Can you fix it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, why does this look grainy? Why does this look this way? Like, motherfucker was trying to be authentic.
Oh, we're definitely authentic. That's my favorite. My favorite comment is everyone's like, these motherfuckers are raw as fuck. Yeah, I don't have a fucking filter. So, what'd you guys do on this web series? Were you guys just there as guests, or?
We were just there as guests. Ended up being extras on the show. We were basically told to sit down and kiki Me and my wife sit there and we bullshit and do like that all the time. So it ain't nothing, you know what I mean? And she was teasing me a little bit on camera. All that shit got in the camera. I loved it. It was just natural, you know what I mean? And what I realized is that I like it. My wife liked it. It's all a part of something that I want to do, and it's just another expansion of what I can do.
Are we talking
And
porn here?
I mean, baby, yeah, I'm talking about.
Wait for that ching ching on the video.
You know, we like to keep things private a little
I
bit.
hear you on that. I just teasing a little.
We appreciate the risk. We don't necessarily like getting caught. Yo, yes. LoudMouth still sponsors DJ Needles, 100% all the way, no matter what. It could be Rock the Mic. It could be Duffy's.
All right, so talk to us about tell us about more what's DJ Needles doing because I know you're
DJ
promoting
Needles is that motherfucker. You want somebody who's gonna run a venue properly, somebody who's gonna get legit artists out here striving, real authentic group of individuals who got a talent. If you want to see them on stage, talk to Needles. Needles will get you those people. You know, he can't guarantee you that your place is gonna be popping enough or that your name is gonna appeal to everybody. But he can guarantee you that anybody that show up to that motherfucker is gonna have a great fucking time. He's gonna guarantee you that he's gonna sit there and he's gonna make sure that everybody tipping your bartender every time. What's he say? Tip your motherfucking bartender, motherfucker. And that's what it is, bro. Needles is all about giving back to everybody else while, just doing what he want to do, doing something that he enjoys to do. Of course, the man ain't doing this shit for free. He's been in the business 10, 15 plus years. However, you come and talk to the man and you say, hey, I got a proposition for you. I got this going on. I'm trying to do this. I'm opening a new venue. I got an idea. He's going to listen. He's gonna check you out, and if he think that shit could be prosperous, he gonna work with you, and he's gonna figure it the fuck out. And even if he don't think that shit's prosperous, and you're providing what he think is a substantial amount to make him put forth his little bit of effort that he need to do, he gonna fucking do it. And that's just what News is about.
Something about a raffle.
Oh, the raffle. I completely. Yo, yes, you did, bro. What did you win? It was the oil rig, the big the big beacon oil rig. I apologize, my phone going off like 3 times today.
You a popular man apparently.
Yes, yo, that shit was bad. I bought it originally for myself. You know that? Originally, I bought the piece that he won from the raffle that we did at DJ Needle's event. That's where the raffle comes in at. When I sponsor his events, we typically will do some type of raffle or we'll be vending. Typically, it's both, vending and raffling. If it's not raffling, it's vending. If it's not vending, it's we got some.
And what kind of raffle is it? What's the how's the raffle work? What's
Well,
the
it's not necessarily a cheap raffle. It's not a dollar raffle, but at the same time, it's not a dollar prize. You know what I mean? You got to consider that. Like, what you're winning when you win this as easily as it is to win it.
what's typically the prize you guys raffle?
It was like, it was $5 for a ticket.
Okay.
And the prize amounted to about $150 to $200 for the.
Can you say what the prize was?
It was a big rig.
A big rig.
A big giant oil rig, or not giant, I wouldn't say, but it for dabs, yes.
Okay. I don't know what the fuck that means, but I'm sure most of you all out there do.
Yeah, damn right you do, man. The one he won was specific in that the artist that created it was almost like a beaker bong, but it beakered up and it came out to, I believe, an oil rig, and then pieced out like that. Joey, it came out. It was the beaker, and then it.
beaker, and then it's got a tornado thing that
Oh.
goes up.
Yes,
And
I.
then it's got a
Damn, I
chamber
wish you
right here,
had this
spins
thing.
around again, and it comes out into the
Talking about it does not do it justice, show.
I got a video somewhere.
Hey, if he's got a video, I hope you can see it. This
So
shit's fire.
so you guys raffle off cool ass shit. Though.
Yes, exactly. So your $5 does not go in vain.
Yeah, it's gotta sell quite a lot of raffle tickets just to get your money back on
Well,
the prize.
well, that's the thing. See, people genuinely don't want to spend $5 on a raffle ticket when they're in a bar that is charging them $5 for their 16-ounce Budweiser.
Oh, you're at a fucking bar. You're gonna pay more. At least you're not at the fucking
You know,
fairgrounds paying
it-
$15 for the same fucking beer.
It's just the consideration that you have to take in when you do decide to do something like that. If you are going to be a vendor, and you have to consider where you're vending. If you're vending at a place that is not necessarily cheap, you might want to either compete with them, or oh man, she is beautiful. How do I show them this?
Point it at the camera.
Can you show them?
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Oh my goodness, she's beautiful.
I don't know if it's gonna get it.
Absolutely beautiful.
She is beautiful.
It should focus in on
She is very used.
Yes. Oh, I miss her.
That's what a raffle does.
Only
Yep,
on
that's
Blue
what a-
Collar
that's what a
Genius do you
$5
get shit
raffle
like
does,
this.
dog.
Only on Blue Collar Genius do you get shit like this coming.
Hey, I got a half a blunt in my car. You mind if I go around and grab that right quick?
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want? Yeah, they'll grab it for you if you want.
I think it's badass though.
I'll just go get him.
No, and then like you used to do the raffles on Facebook and all that shit. That's what I was trying to.
We were
Well, wait till you go back.
we were trying to do
That's
that.
what I was kinda getting at. Trying to fucking shout it all out and like make sure everybody knows about it. I thought you were doing raffles on Facebook.
think we promoted the raffles.
That's probably what it was.
So, for everyone in the background, I ain't catching that shit. They were talking about they were promoting the raffles on Facebook, but they were only doing the raffles at the actual show, so you had to be physically present to buy a ticket. That way, they weren't selling tickets to people that didn't have a chance to win. So that's a bonus. Like that's some good shit right there. So, if you don't know the band MRSA, MRSA, find them on Facebook. Check them out. Pretty cool group. Also, we will be having a few more guests coming up shortly. As soon as I have confirmed dates, I will give them to you. One of them is a local author who has moved to Europe. That will be in September when he comes back stateside with his lovely European bride for a vacation. Once I have a confirmed date range, I will start putting it out there. He writes really cool lit RPG novels. So if you are a gaming nerd in any capacity or have done any kind of gaming, I will start promoting him shortly. And definitely check his books out. If you are an Amazon Prime, Kindle Prime member that can read the books for free, he is on that. So definitely plan on checking him out. And surprisingly, shock of all shocks, his first name is Jason as well. And
Coincidence.
he grew up here in fucking West Palm as well.
Wagwan, brethren.
So you guys really, with LoudMouth, have done a lot of different stuff.
Yeah. We tried a lot of shit. You know, that's just basically what it boiled down to. I am kind of crazy when it comes to things. Like, you get me on a topic, I'll continuously talk about it, and next thing you know, my mind, while I'm talking about it, will be on a different topic, and then I'll just shut off and forget what the fuck I'm talking about.
Really?
And then be like, but there's this though. you know, and just start talking about some random ass shit. Another one of my problems with the podcast. If it's too long of an interview, like I would have with certain people, like me being interviewed is one thing. This is your show. You know what I mean? You run it. I don't have to worry about it. Me running it, I have to keep thinking. You know what I mean?
Oh, you were worried about it running too long and people getting bored, or them not being able to, them just saying enough's enough. What was your
Either-
thought process? Like that-
Either them it running too long and people getting bored, or me myself and it running too long and me getting bored, in a sense, because essentially that's just what it is. It's like my mind. It's,
That's an interesting because literally the way I do this, like as you've seen, I don't have like a set like path that I follow.
of course.
Essentially, when I feel that I'm struggling for a way to keep the conversation going,
Yeah.
that's when I start winding it down and I call it.
Yeah.
As for how long it runs, I don't care. Like I was telling you, and I tell everyone I talk to, the idea is I'm letting the listeners be a fly on the wall. Because we've all said that. I wish I could be a fly on the wall during that conversation.
I feel that.
This is, a couple guys sitting down at a bar. Salute, by the way.
Salud or scone.
Whatever your thing to say is. Getting to know each other for the first time. Because that's how friendships are made. You meet someone somewhere, you start talking. And a bond starts to form as you get to know each other. And as all conversations, it's typically a little bit more one-sided, but it's the opportunity for the viewers to be that fly on the wall as two people who were essentially usually strangers, not always on my show, some people I know really well, but you get to be that fly on the wall while people have a very honest and open conversation because there is no filter on this. There is no topic per se that's verboten or not allowed that we won't territory we go in unless it's something that's very personal that someone doesn't like. It's not often, in my opinion, in a podcast where someone's open and vulnerable that they're going to talk about losing their grandfather and then 8 months later losing their grandmother. Like that's not your normal something you hear on interviews and podcasts.
You see, with me, it's just like you could literally ask me any question. I'm gonna answer it honestly because I don't see no reason why not to.
Well, and another thing at this level, I found that a lot of people don't have like that image they're trying to protect.
Exactly.
So they're at this point, they're still raw and real. There are a few bigger artists out there that I would like to interview, like Afro Man, but I think he's still down to earth and humble enough that doesn't have an image he's trying to
You could
protect.
definitely get Afro Man here. Next time. Hey, Joey.
Yeah.
When do you know if Afro Man plans on coming back to prop anytime soon?
I have no idea, but
We have designs on that.
very good friends with him, and he comes out a lot.
Okay.
Smoked a blunt with him personally. And
My dude.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
we have
That's
design-
all, that's what I'm saying. Like, I might not be connected with this motherfucker, but I know that somebody is.
Yeah.
And-
he like brought a bunch of people out to Denny's and everything. Like,
But yeah, we have designs like that. But
Hell yeah.
but
he's cool as
I don't want to talk to people that have an image to protect. I don't want to talk to people that feel they have to be guarded because it's good. I want to talk to people that can still be real. That they can sit here and go, you know what? I don't like this motherfucker.
I caught that in my mouth.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to be able to sit here and go, you know what? I don't like that dude. Fuck him.
Yep.
Speaking which, so how many guys were on Loudmouth Podcast? I know it was more than just you. There was a whole crew involved.
Definitely not a touchy subject. Loudmouth consisted of myself. Originally, it consisted of me, my buddy James, my buddy Jesse, and I tried to get my homeboy Ian involved. So you was looking at 4 people. Now, none of them were ever able to really make it to the podcast, and I think we managed like 4 episodes. Know our feelings. Y'all know how I feel about it. It is what it is. You know, I told him basically, I was like, look, bro, what the fuck? Like, if we're gonna do this, we need to do this. If we're not gonna do this, tell me. And it was like, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And we kind of just never did. Now, there ain't no lost love there. You know what I
So
mean?
no hard
It's
feelings with
no.
anybody.
It was just that when I found a better opportunity, I decided to take it. You know, it's really crazy how everything ended up planning out with or working out for LoudMouth, because originally I had already knew Needles, you know, from my profession. He comes into my job all the time. I literally see Needles and his lady on a daily basis. You know, I see his family. I know them personally, and I told him about what I was trying to do, knowing what he does, and he had basically said, like, I like your idea. If you want to do it, let's do it together. And I ended up not following through with Needles, just from a standpoint of like, I know you, but I've never done anything business wise with you. I've never hung out with you on a personal level. You've only ever given me free tickets to Rock the Mic events. You know, and I've seen you there and I've dapped you up and you come in and buy Dutches. You know, so I don't necessarily know my dude like that. And then I met Jay, and me and Huel's not his last name. It's just
What you
a
call
name
him?
he came up with. Hule, I believe it stands for something like oil and fucking in Greek or some weird shit. I don't know exactly what it was. But Jay is the reason why everything looked like it took off on at such an exponential rate. It was such a rinky-dink nothing, you know, off a GarageBand and a Mac camera. And then you look at the very next video that was produced with Jay or Hewley, and you realize that's like, oh man, they actually took some time and effort and did something. It wasn't just the time and effort that I was putting in singly to try and make what I was producing look a certain way. It was everything else. And when he started applying that, it just made things look like we were all the way up here when we was still right the fuck here. You know what I mean? It's like, you can have all the equipment, you can have everything you need, you can have as many authentic conversations and as you want, but at the end of the day, it's the viewer, it's their reaction that counts, because that's what's going to push everybody further. That's what's going to push the podcast further. That's what's going to, you know, that's what makes anything jump. It's a collective reaction, not a single reaction. And I think that we were so focused on, I guess, single reactions at one point.
Like, what is there any like specific things that you could like name single reactions that you were focused on?
Single reactions like trying to get a rise out of one audience member.
Really, you guys were trying to get a rise out of one audience member?
We would shout people out that we would see were consistent. And yes, that does something. Don't believe that it doesn't. It really does. It does do something to create a genuine place for people, you know, where a place where people could feel comfortable anyway. But when you're just going out for one thing and you're not considering the broader view of everything else, like what you're doing and how much more people you could be reaching by doing something different, you know. We chose to do certain things the way we felt like things should be done. So it wasn't until we started following suit with algorithms and ideas that were prosperous for other people that things became a little more prosperous for us. It was just something that we had to realize, at the end of the day. And it was tough because everybody wants everything to be the way they want it to be. But at the end of the day, it just kind of can't, because we have to conform in some way. We have to give in somewhere. No good business deal is ever done where both parties are 100% satisfied.
I can see that, unless you hold all the cards and you're dictating terms.
Yeah, I mean, you can be a tyrant if you want.
I prefer the term gangster. You know what the difference between a businessman and a gangster is, right?
What would that be?
An old Italian cowboy told me this. He goes, the difference between a businessman and a gangster is a businessman shows up in a suit with a pen. A gangster shows up with a suit, a pen, and a gun. That's it. That's the difference.
I feel it. But not everything can be resolved with the gun in.
Oh, that's why you're there with the suit and the pen at first.
Well, to see, that's the thing. You can go presenting an idea a certain way, and then somebody turns it down. Now you can force that idea, or you can say, "Hey, what would help you feel more comfortable about this?"
Well, that's
you
the
know.
business side of it.
Well, in a lot of life, it is where you have to go down to. You have to be business. You have to be corporate in a lot of ways if you want certain things to be held to a certain standard. Everything else can be done, just like that gangster wants to.
I hear what you're saying.
You know what I mean? But you got to play all the cards right. Just because you got all the cards don't mean you're playing them right. And playing them right is making sure that you're making sure this monopoly board is working in your favor, not against you.
I hear that. No, that's the hardest part is what are you trying to figure out
Tough
what you're
bitch.
doing that's working against you. Like I'm sure my cursing and my lack of language filter works against me to a large percent on YouTube. I'm aware of that.
I don't think so. Today's society is another thing. Like there's just so many factors you really have to consider when talking about creating something on a social media network. Because YouTube is not just media. It is now become a social media network. You do not just go look at videos. What do you do after those videos?
People comment on them. You got to
You
review
look
the
at
comments.
the comments. You look at them. It's just like WorldStar. That's why things got so popular with WorldStar. Everybody was able to say something. When you give people the when you give people the illusion of a voice, they seem to congregate more so than when they actually have an opportunity to do something different. So for me, it's like I want to make something different. So I'm going over here where not everybody else is going to. That was the whole idea really with the podcast. It wasn't just the Rooster Teeth inspirations. It was like I want to create something. I want to do something. I feel like I was supposed to do something. I'm meant to do something. I have a voice. I feel like I got it. And if I feel like I got it, I can do it. And the same goes for everybody else. If you feel like you can do it, fucking do it, because you only got this.
So let me ask you this and this because this is how I feel about it. Is there's a lot of people that I think should be sitting on this couch where you're at telling their story. I think there should be three times as many people sitting here. I think I should be doing 3 episodes a week.
You should be.
But there's a lot of people who don't feel that they have a story worth telling. And while I don't agree with that, I can't
That's why you set up 6.
but I can't force them to sit down on this couch. I can't
Of course.
and half the time I can't convince them. Now, there are guys out there and when they come through it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great time. Who realize they're doing something and want to sit down here. But they're the minority. There's so many people I've started conversations with that I'm trying to get here and they just don't think their story's worth telling, and it drives me nuts
when
because
you when you talk to them and you focus on their stories, how are you presenting that? Are you trying to make them feel like their story is worth talking about? Are you trying to make them feel like speak up, or are you trying to make them feel like
well, let me
this
turn
is a comfort zone?
let me turn this on you. How did
Speak
I
as
make
you will.
when I introduced you? How did I make you feel about coming here and sitting on this?
I felt very comfortable. I felt like this was a safe environment, and I recanted my text to my wife about possibly being Hannibaled.
And what's that mean? I've never heard that term.
Eaten
Oh,
by like.
like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
I was,
Oh damn.
well, I don't know you. You know what I mean? So I was like, hey, this is where I'm at just in case something happens. Like, if I, for some reason, get eaten and they find a toe, like, this was the last location I was at.
I would hope the fact that I've got previous episodes would have been a kind of a giveaway that I ain't Hannibaling anyone,
No, I purely
get
did
what
it
you're
to
saying.
make a joke.
but no, but no, in all full disclosure, be fucking brutal. Like my approach to you when I wanted you to get on, did you feel like I was someone trying to like set you up for something?
I feel like you might have thought that Loudmouth was doing more than it
Oh,
thought.
I absolutely thought loudmouth, like, because the presentation on Facebook, you guys looked dead active still. Like I honestly
Because
thought
we are. I
no,
mean,
like I thought you guys were.
essentially, we are active. If you message me, I will message back. You comment, I will comment
But
back.
like I straight up, like from what I was seeing, I didn't check dates, so that's my bad.
That
But
is a date thing. Yeah.
it looked like you guys were still in full production. I'm like, these guys are still fucking doing it. It looked like you guys
I
were
can't
still,
wait to tell Healy about this.
if you guys had still been putting out episodes, I couldn't have noticed until I went and looked at the dates of your last released video. Like that's the only way I went, oh, he really is like in between right now before he comes active.
Yeah.
Because your Facebook page, you're active on it. I see videos. You're putting out artists that are fucking. You're like, check this dude out. Check
Yep.
this article. Like,
It's all about support. It's all about promotion. Even if I'm not active, I'm going to support anybody who supported me.
like
Did you already mention when you're coming back? Or?
I have no idea when I'm coming back.
like when I was looking at it, I was like, like for what you were talking about, you were doing. From what I saw, like I've got people that I've sat down on here that like, let's work something out. I'll get them on your podcast to get them out a little bit more exposure that way. You know, I honestly thought you guys were in still full active production initially until I really looked into it. And so you do a great job managing your Facebook page for sure. Your social
Thank you.
media. No, you do. Like I had no clue until like we really talked and I started looking into it that you guys weren't in full swing.
Well, I also have a lot of really, really strong supporters out there. If you've ever heard of Hum Movement, I know Prison Prosper, I know War Nuts, I know fucking Fourth the Holocaust. All them boys, they support Loudmouth heavily because we supported them heavily. We supported Rock the Mic heavily, and it's just, for us, it's like, exactly. I'm gonna always try to expand, and I'm sitting here. This is free love, brother. You know what I mean? Like I ain't fucking you 'cause I'm married, but I appreciate anything that you're doing. Anything like this right here. This is art, regardless what anybody wants to call it. You've created an atmosphere. You've created something. This is organic dialogue, right? And you created that, not me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's
That's art.
so, and I appreciate that. Let me ask you something. So when you were interviewing all these guys, who was, if there was there anyone that you interviewed that just was like so fucking funny? Like you guys had trouble talking at times because you were laughing so hard.
Um, I really, really enjoyed interviewing Corinthian brothers.
Yeah.
They are two of the most I guess what's the word I'm looking for? They got a lot of personality, these guys.
Yeah.
You know. So when you listen to their music, they sat there, they was starting to rap along with it. They was getting into the vibe. We was all getting into the vibe, and it was just a good time. We smoking blunts, we cooling.
I know that. I had CPB on here. Another group I was going to recommend to y'all. Dude, I just threw a random ass track at them, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Nah, that one's whack." I can bust something to that, and they busted freestyle on that
Word.
on these mics. The two of them just went at it like
Okay.
hot.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's like with the skinny that I was telling you about earlier. Excuse me.
No problem. That beer,
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
but like it wasn't like pre-thrown. Like we're gonna do this. Like we were just talking. I'm like, you guys want to throw some freestyle? They're like, let's hear what you got. And I have a couple tracks I keep. You know, I had a different plan for them. They're all licensed by YouTube for free use.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hear this one. And they're like, and then I fucking hit one, and they're like, yeah, I'm vibing to that. And they just fucking spit. In fact, that's one of my excerpts. Like, but they just fucking, it was off. Like, I don't ask anyone to do anything except for sit here and talk to me. It's just fucking have a good time. Like, I tell guys, if you want to bring instruments, that's fine. I'm not asking you to. I definitely don't have the fucking space to set up a whole band.
No, you don't.
But so let me ask, so you're 24 now?
25.
25. How old were you when you got married?
25.
Oh, so you just recently, you're newlyweds. How long do you know your wife before you guys got married?
It's a bit of an interesting subject, so I'm gonna leave that for
Okay.
the next interview that we have because I suspect that we might.
Oh, I'll definitely be interested, especially when you got some shit kicking off for sure.
Yeah.
So, Smoke, I'm getting a little drunk.
I hear it.
I'm about ready to wrap it up. You good?
I'm chilling, man. I actually got to go over to Fish Depot and meet my wife and her sister and my family. So,
So, if I just got two questions that came to mind. If you got, and then we're gonna wrap this shit up. You got Loudmouth podcast up. Is there an independent or any artist non-local-ish living independent artist that you wish you could interview that you haven't had the opportunity yet to interview?
one person who's been slipping my grasp. When I was in production, we were talking about it all the time. Every time I seen him at an event, anytime I ever bumped into him, it was like, yo, we got to get that interview going. We got to get that interview going. But for some reason, he's just such a busy person. Like, you got to understand, this is B Magic 302. Or, yeah, I think it's B Magic 302. Something about Delaware.
Okay.
Delaware 305, 302. I think
305 is Miami.
yeah, okay, so it's 302. B Magic 302, bro. This dude, I can't really say a whole lot.
But he's someone you would love to interview.
He's somebody whose name has ran through the grapevine of all the people that I've known, and he's somebody who I've been talking to multiple times about and set up times and all this stuff for interviews that we just never really got the chance to get down in the gritty. And then that with him, he comes with hood hippies. So you got to consider that's B Magic. B Magic is not only a rap artist, he's also a music producer. He produces beats, he records, he does pretty much anything that you could imagine. And then you got Gambo. Gambo raps, he produces, he makes beats, and he does video. And then you can go to fucking King Hippie, El Vadio. That motherfucker, he is the hook man for days. He is hard as fuck, rugged when it comes to it, energy so boastful, and the motherfucking could cook. He's got his whole little thing he promotes on Facebook for food and shit that he does on the weekend. So it's like them and B Magic. I need to get them all together. I need to get them all for one big interview. I can't forget Kizzy Yabo. Kizzy Yabo, I have interviewed fucking El Vadio.
Oh, and let me wrap this up with this one of the most important questions I have for you. Who is it that you know who's got a story that they should be sitting on this couch and telling me?
Cameron Airborne.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to work on setting that shit up then.
No, I could have it done for you tomorrow if you want it.
Well, let's fucking arrange that shit for real. If he's
Okay.
got that kind of story that needs to be
It
told.
depends on his schedule.
Yeah, no, I get on his schedule. I'm not saying we'll get him on tomorrow, but I'm saying if he's a person that should be sitting on this couch and talking to me, let's set that shit up for real. So with that, man, I appreciate you coming out.
Thank you for having me, bro.
To all you badass bitches and fucking killer ass motherfuckers out there that been watching this shit, thank
My
you very
wife.
much. And with that, we say good night, fuckers.
Peace.
Peace.
Or good night.